In the last programme, I explored different treatments for stammering, such as TDCS and speech and language therapy. In this part, I want to explore what the general societal understanding is towards people who stammer. I also want to know the level and type of representation people who stammer receive in popular culture and the media. Rachel Everard is the director of the British Stammering Association. She agreed to speak to me about stammering's place in modern society.
I think that society doesn't really understand stammering. I think there are a lot of stereotypes out there, and I think people have, there's a lot of myths around stammering. So, for example, that stammering is caused by nervousness, that people who stammer are possibly less intelligent than other people, and we know that that's not true at all.
It was interesting to get Rachel's opinion, but I wanted to know how well the public understood stammering. What do you think a person who stammers is like?
I wouldn't say any different. They've just got a speech impediment. There's nothing wrong with having a stammer, I don't think. It's just a speech impediment.
I don't really think about it. They're just a normal human being. They're just,
yeah.
They stammer.
I don't think I guess I don't think it matters. I mean, there can be anyone. I mean, it's just one of those things, isn't it? A disability can affect all sorts of different people.
How would you feel as well if someone was to stammer quite severely in front of you?
I wouldn't feel anything personally. I'd feel more sorry for them.
It can feel a bit like you might not know what to do, but again, I think that feeling is kind of a natural feeling, and I guess the only way to respond to that is just to be patient and just, continue the conversation as normal.
From what I found, people have a good understanding of stammering. However, I wanted to know what life was like for people who stammer in the public eye. Former Shadow Chancellor and media presenter Ed Balls has a stammer. He spoke to me about his experiences in politics and the media.
I don't think that anybody knew I had a stammer until I went public and said, I've got a stammer. And I went on the breakfast television with Michael Palin on a morning TV programme, talked about having a stammer. But that was like 2 years after I'd been in the cabinet. And even then I think people were a bit thrown by it. They didn't really know what a stammer was. They certainly didn't think it was what I had. I think it was more that I was somebody who was thought to be, been in politics a long time, was brainy, sometimes was really good, but sometimes his words didn't come out. And sometimes he was, maybe he was just a bit inexperienced. Maybe sometimes he got a bit nervous. So I think every now and then there'd be a sort of, what happened to Ed?
How well do you feel people who stammer are represented in popular culture and the media?
I think people who stammer at this point, in the end of the second decade of the 21st century, are badly represented in the media. I think it's always been like that, and it's been acceptable for it to be something which is mocked or laughed at, made a joke of, or criticised.
The question of representation also raises the issue of the lack of people who stammer in frontline media roles.
So if you think of news presenters, always have this very polished, in a way, very, very flawless way of speaking. And I think it would be great to see a news presenter who also stammers, because it's just a difference, just as we all speak.